High up in the mountains of South America, on the border between Argentina and Chile, stands a huge bronze statue of Christ, the Christ of the Andes. When it was erected in 1904, the two nations had been fighting about the borders, almost coming to the point of war. At last they arrived at a peaceful solution and erected the statue of Christ the Redeemer to remind themselves of the lasting peace and friendship between the two nations. A tablet at the base reads, "Sooner shall these mountains crumble into dust than Chileans and Argentinians break the peace which at the feet of Christ the Redeemer they have sworn to maintain." Well, no sooner had they put the statue up than they began fighting again. They began fighting now over the statue of peace. The Chileans looked at the statue and said that Jesus was facing towards Argentina and had his back towards Chile. So the two nations fought over this symbol of peace, until finally one brilliant and witty newspaper editor in Chile solved the problem by writing, "No, Jesus is facing the right direction because the Argentinians need to be looked over a lot more than we do." So it was that peace was brought to the nations. War seems to be a fact of life. Whether on the playground or in the family, on the streets or in the trenches, we see fighting all around us. It seems to be embedded in the human heart. We always want something that belongs to someone else. We always want a little more than what we have. And this starts very early in life. A story is told about Abraham Lincoln. One day outside the Lincoln home, one of the neighbors heard a loud racket and children screaming. The neighbor ran out to see what was the matter and found Lincoln with two of his boys. Both boys were screaming and crying. When the neighbor asked what was wrong, Abe rolled his eyes and said, "The same thing that is wrong with the rest of the world. I have 3 walnuts here, and they each want 2. We long for peace because we have never known it. Human beings now have the capability of destroying the world several times over. Albert Einstein once said, "I cannot predict what weapons will be used to fight World War III, but I can guarantee that World War IV will be fought with stones." Another world war would almost certainly be the end of everything. There was a time when a leader, in order to be regarded as great, had to show he was proficient in leading armies and wreaking destruction. The greatest leader was the one who could take the most amount of lives in the shortest amount of time. Now this can no longer be the case in our modern world with our capabilities of destroying the planet. Today, a great leader must be a peacemaker, a bridge builder, not afraid to extend the hand of friendship to those who used to be regarded as enemies. None of us ever knows true peace, even in our own families and our own hearts. Peace of heart is where it needs to begin. It is no accident that in those parts of the world most oppressed by war from the beginning of time, the greeting they extend to one another is a greeting of peace, because that is what they most desire. Among the peoples of the Middle East, we hear the ancient greeting of salam, or its Hebrew equivalent, shalom, peace. It is because that part of the world has never known anything even remotely resembling peace. How interesting that when someone dies, we don't say, let them go to eternal joy, or let them go to eternal love. Rather, we say, rest in peace. Peace is what we desire most, even for our beloved dead. Peace is something we seek our whole life long and can finally find, we think, after our death. Today, Jesus greets his friends not once, not twice, but 3 times with the words, "Peace be with you." They had been sitting behind locked doors out of fear and desperation, with anything but peace in their hearts. We too find ourselves sitting behind locked doors or behind locked hearts with our own pains, our own problems, our own worries, our own cares and concerns. Jesus comes to us too and says, "You thought you could keep me out by shutting your heart, but look, I can enter even so. And the gift I bring to you is my peace. Peace I give to you." He says, "You come with the wounds of life, but look at my hands. Look at my wounded side. Place your fingers in my wounds. Place your hand in my side that has been opened for love of you. Be no longer worried, no longer afraid to love, but love with the same love that has opened these wounds, and peace be with you." Filled with the precious gift of peace that only God can give, we unite our hearts and together begin to build a world of true and lasting peace. Shalom, salam, peace be upon us all.